Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm joined today by an amazing returning guest, the prolific, the industrious, the flyering light of Echo Park. She actually lives in Larchmont. We welcome.
Don't tell them where I live.
Well, why? It's a fucking neighborhood. Larchmont, New York, maybe even.
Give them my entire address, please.
Evyenia.
Hello.
How are you? Good to have you.
I'm so great, Daniel. How are you?
Well, what do you want me to call you, Nia?
Is that your full name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Daniel Carlos Vega.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it. It's always been my name. You know, I'm more Danny Vega.
Okay.
I don't really, Carlos.
Have you ever gone by Daniel?
No, that's only for my mom when she's mad. It's a
Oh,
weapon
okay.
she can pull out.
Does she do the full
No.
Daniel? Okay, just Daniel.
She'll just drop a Daniel.
Got it. So
But
that's when
we're
you
good.
know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been a good boy now. I've been on a
Oh.
long good boy streak.
Did Santa come?
Yes, my mom got some good gifts, but I was actually the biggest gift giver this year. My
Wow.
dad turned 70. I got him a drone, nice little drone. He likes his drone.
Did you guys drone together?
No, I fucked it up. But somebody on the podcast roasted me because I was like, "Oh, my dad doesn't like gifts," and then somebody was like, "AITA for not giving my dad gifts," and then I was like, "Fuck." So
Wow.
thanks for calling me out, whoever did that, because I got him a gift and he loved it.
It's very nice.
It was very nice.
I got my dad a puzzle
Okay. Well, does he like
and
puzzles?
a shirt. He does like puzzles.
great.
And his birthday is also on Christmas.
Your dad's a puzzle guy. Wait, what? Your dad's birthday's on Christmas?
Yeah.
Your dad's Christ?
Yep.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
You're tired of that joke, I bet.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that.
Nice. Well, my big news is I'm recovering from my surge. I got
The surge of
women chasing me. It never stops, folks. No, I had the septoplasty. Actually, I'm pretty embarrassed. Before my septoplasty, I threw it on the Patreon. I was like, if anyone wants to shoot their shot, I need a texting buddy. And only one person was like, I'll play iMessage games with you.
Aw, did you
Don't
play?
Yeah, we did. We actually did.
Cute.
Thanks, Abigail. It was good playing with you.
Love that for you.
But yeah, I got the septoplasty. I had a deviated septum. That's the kind of flesh between your nose. So I'm gonna have 2 nostrils soon. Pretty excited about that. I can already kind of use both.
Nice.
It's gonna take some time.
Happy for you. Congratulations.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
a huge step in any young man's life.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't know you thought of me as young. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have had some really gross boogers and
Thank you for sharing that with everyone.
really huge. If anybody likes booger pics,
Oh my
some people
God.
are into that, like pimple popping and gross stuff like that.
I think that's
You like that?
no. I saw a video today of this girl popping her pimple and I exited the app.
Sometimes I can get in the mood for it, but it is kind of nasty. But I did, so I've been completely clean and sober now, but I got painkillers for this, which,
okay.
So I got 30.
What kind of painkillers did you get?
Percocet, 30.
Nice.
And I was like, this is a lot
That's
of perks.
a lot. That's crazy that they give you so many.
You're supposed to take 3 a day. The sheet says only take them if you need them. That's what the doctor says.
I think I got prescribed like 3 when I got wisdom teeth. And I didn't take any of them because I was scared I was going to get addicted. Addiction doesn't even run in my family. I don't know why I was scared
You're
about
paranoid.
this. I'm so paranoid.
I took 3 the first day, and then the next morning I took 3 more, which was kind of a lot. But I was kind of feeling it. But then didn't really feel that bad. And I was like, okay, I don't really need these around.
Yeah.
I threw them out.
Yeah.
Except one. You're supposed to save one for the initial. There's a deboogering where they go in and they like.
Wow. We don't. Okay.
That's the sound of a vacuum, Evyenia. Don't be gross. So turns out, didn't know this, your body's inflammation response peaks at 3 days. And let me tell you, was I regretting.
Gosh.
But anyway, if you guys have a deviated septum, I recommend, well, I can't say that yet, but I'm going to hopefully recommend getting it undeviated.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll check back in.
And don't throw out the painkillers. Just give them to a friend. See how it plays out.
A trusted friend.
See how it plays out. Yeah, a very trusted friend. See how it plays out. So you got any juice for us? Any drama? Any updates?
Oh gosh, juice and drama. Let's see. I mean, I could give an update on Ambi. That was pretty dramatic. The dog, the foster dog.
Well, that was really fun. We recorded with your dog
Yeah.
here. She was kind of making a lot of noise, and it was a little stressful for me, but we got through it.
Yeah. honestly, we did not have a happy ending for her. We haven't yet.
No, what the hell?
The lady, the foster, the rescue agency who like rescued her, quote unquote, was awful.
Yeah.
She pretty much abandoned me to handle everything alone, which was really tough because Ambi, who I like completely fell in love with, and I'm obsessed with her.
She's a great dog.
I like have been crying the last 3 days because I miss her so much. I haven't seen her in like a month now.
Oh, how tender.
She had really bad separation anxiety, so she couldn't be apart from me or from humans, but she also would like try and attack my dog all the time. So it was really difficult for me because I was just like running. I would like literally my entire day was just running back and forth between two dogs in separate rooms. And when I was coming back to LA, I knew that like I wouldn't be able to keep them separated. There was no way to do it. So I kept telling the rescue lady, like, listen, like I'm way past when I was supposed to have her until like you need to figure something out. And like she consistently, first of all, she owes me so much money. She owes me like thousands of dollars. She was so passive aggressive and rude to me for like when I would ask her for advice, and she would never give me a straight answer on like what the next steps were. And most importantly, well, two other things. One, I asked for a trainer to help introduce the dogs in a more like structured environment.
Okay.
Wouldn't help me with that. And then Ambi had a lump under like one of her nipples, which I was really concerned about. And her whole skin was like, she had lost a lot of her hair. Her skin was really inflamed. It was really itchy. It smelled really bad. Like there was something going on. She was scratching herself literally 24/7. I wasn't sleeping because all I would hear all night was her scratching herself. Felt so bad that she like this lady wouldn't like organize a vet appointment for her. I was like, I'll drive 4 hours to a vet, like whatever you need me to do. This lady was awful. So I brought her to a local shelter near my parents' place, like a very small no-kill shelter. Who I explained the situation to them, and they were like, yeah, we'll take her. Like, I'm so sorry this happened. And, you know, they legally had to tell this lady that they had her dog. So, but we were kind of like talking like, you know, I don't want her to take her because she clearly is like she's so burnt out. She's like not helping these dogs. I don't want her to be back in her care. And she hadn't come to pick her up in all this time, obviously. So why would she suddenly come? But I was kind of worried there was like an ego play of like her wanting just her ego kind of leading there.
Yeah.
And she texted me after they called her, she didn't answer. She didn't talk to them, but she texted me passive aggressively being like, yeah, I'm going to go pick her up from where you dropped her. And I sent her an email and I was like, look, I want what's best for her. She's in a really safe place now. She's finally getting veterinary care. And like, I'm going to be in contact with them every single day until her adoption. It's clear that you're super burnt out and like, thank you for everything that you've done. But like, can you please just surrender her to this shelter? And if you do, then I won't ask for it to be paid back and we can just move on. And
that was a sizable sum, thousands.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
that was big of you.
She never responded to me.
Okay.
And she also, she never surrendered Ambi, and they kept calling her over and over again. She never responded to them. So Ambi, as of January 21st, Ambi is officially now part of Pets in Need. She's in their care. But it couldn't be made official until either Deanna from My Best Friend's Rescue either surrendered her or the 2-week period passed. So instead of surrendering her, she let the 2-week period pass. But what that meant is that Ambi wasn't allowed to be played with for 2 weeks. She wasn't allowed to interact with the volunteers for 2 weeks. She wasn't allowed to be listed as up for adoption for those 2 weeks because this selfish lady wouldn't surrender her. And I'm just like so mad when I heard that because I'm like, you claim to care about dogs and here you are making it harder for this dog to get adopted.
Yeah.
So at this point, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I should reach out to her or just leave it? Because now I kind of want to be like, you didn't surrender her. You're an asshole. And also pay me back.
I would say no. I would say don't mess with her. She sounds like a crazy person.
Crazy person.
That's the thing about crazy people is you don't know what they're going to do. You know?
She can't do anything to me, but the worst they can do is like be passive aggressive again.
if you don't think she can do anything to you, then I would challenge you to use your imagination and really, really consider if she did something really fucking crazy. But if you genuinely feel that, then yeah.
I mean, she lives in Colorado, so what's she gonna do to me?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing about crazy people. Is you don't know. She might hire someone on Craigslist to break your knees. I don't know.
Thank you.
That's what I'm telling you. Crazy people, they'll go. You think they're gonna zig and they zag.
I do think that her like rescue should be reported.
Yeah, I would sooner say put your energy there.
Yeah. But anyways, I got an update on Ambi the other day. I called them. She is like a staff favorite. She escapes from her crate, her kennel all the time, and like just wanders out. And they're like, "Oh God, here's Ambi again."
Here's Ambi.
She got to go on a little adventure since she's finally like past the 14-day period. She got to go on like a 3-hour adventure with a volunteer. And then like I'm still kind of like hat in the ring for adopting her. If they can help me with her like dog issues. I don't have high hopes about that, but I really, really hope that whether it's me or someone else
who
takes her.
What are the dog issues? What does that mean?
Like her reactivity with other dogs, because like it's such a problem that she tries to.
She's a big dog.
Fight my dog all the time. Like that's really difficult.
Right.
I couldn't have them in the same room. But if that was magically resolved and we can work on that, then like cool. But if not, then I just really, really hope that whoever does take her allows me to be in her life, because like I love her and I miss her.
Well, thanks for sharing the update. I mean, I hope it works out. I hope it works out. You did remind me of a story I've never told you guys. This is a Dr. Vega classic. This is a childhood memory, dare I say. So I remember asking my dad, like bringing up Hitler. You know, I was learning about Hitler. And I was like, you know, he's like the most evil guy. That was like something that was said. Like he's the most evil person to have ever existed. And my dad said, I don't know about that. And I was like, really? He's like, like you're wrong. He's like, well, no, I understand why people say that, but you know, he was talking about how he had, you know, some case where, you know, some like, people will have children. They'll have like foster children because they get like $800 a month from the government, and they don't actually care for the child.
Yeah,
it's obviously extremely harmful.
Yeah,
and this woman just made me think of that because she might be the most evil person in the world.
Yeah, I have heard of that, and I think that's awful. But like, I don't even think that she has like bad intentions, but I think that she like has no business running a rescue.
Well, I think very few people have bad intentions. Yeah. I think that's something life has taught me. It's very convenient because you can always say what your intention is, right? You can always be like, well, what I intended to happen. Well, yeah, but that's not what happened now, is it?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, I think explanations are okay, but whenever people try to go to Intention Town, I'm like, you know, explain it if you have to, but like, I just think intention's overrated.
I think it matters, but I think action also matters.
Exactly. Well, it's easy to say what you intend while totally conveying something totally different. A lot of people don't act. Well, it's good to have you back. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back.
Having me.
And I hope things work out there. We're gonna do some listener submissions, y'all.
Ooh.
Second story of the day: AITA for accusing a man of being misogynistic for not wanting to sign a prenup. But first, folks, AITA for assuming we'd split the check. My 27F close friend from college, Gina, 28F, visited my city last weekend for a work conference. Before her visit, she texted me to let me know and see if we could make time to see one another. During our text exchange, we discussed options for making plans, and I brought up a new bougie restaurant that was going viral on the TikTok. I kind of backpedaled quickly because it was a $4 sign restaurant.
Oh,
you believe that? Gina replied, I actually got a $150 stipend for food per day that is automatically added to my paycheck. So no expense report needed, and my hotel has free breakfast and the conference has a free catered lunch, so I can put that amount toward dinner.
Oh, okay.
I was stoked and made a reservation. We enjoyed an awesome Instagram-worthy meal. It's actually a tapas-style restaurant where you order a bunch of different dishes and split everything. So we got to try so many tasty dishes. When the bill came, our total was $300.
Dang, okay.
We each pulled out our credit cards, and Gina told the server to split it down the middle. I blurted out, what? Gina looked at me surprised. I explained that the whole reason I agreed to come here was because she was putting $150 toward the bill, and we were splitting the remaining cost. Gina said she never agreed to that. The server cleared their throat uncomfortably as they were still standing there. I was really hurt by Gina not seeing where I was coming from and the logic behind my assumption. After the server left, I told Gina I couldn't believe how cheap she was behaving, and she said I was being ridiculous. AITA for assuming Gina had planned to put the $150 from her company toward the bill, and we'd split the remaining amount.
I wanna hear what you think.
The thing is, I felt like I empathized with Gina because when OP finally explains it, I was like, what? It wasn't expected at all that that's what she meant. Like this thing where we're like going to use the money. I it's not that like once she explained it, I didn't understand, but I'm like, yeah, you kind of had to like fully articulate that to Gina because I don't think it's obvious.
Yeah, I honestly like, I would have taken that as she wants to treat.
You think OP...
I think Gina made it sound like she was treating. That's how I would have taken that.
I kind of backpedaled
she goes
quickly.
Yeah, she goes like, oh, wait, actually that place is really expensive. And then Gina goes, oh, no worries. I have a $150 stipend I can use towards dinner. To
see you, I think, I don't know how obvious it was that it was going to be so expensive, right? Because $300 is like... honestly, you can get some pretty good food for $300.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
That's half a Profile Opal 2 Pebble ice machine. It's a tenth of a one wheel. So I think it's possible that Gina understood it to get it.
Yeah.
But she didn't realize it was going to be $300. Right? So she would have gotten it if it was $150.
Right. But it sounds okay. Well,
so this scheme where we're going to insert 150 divide by 2, like that's not straightforward.
Yeah. I think that Gina, the way that Gina phrased it, it sounds like she would have put 150 towards the dinner, including her food. But putting 150 towards the dinner is just splitting it down the middle. So I actually don't think like either person is in the wrong, but I think like I understand why OP thought that a lot of it was going to be covered by Gina, but I think they spent way more than that would have been possible because it was $150 over Gina's budget.
Right. I think you're right that it could go either way. I don't think OP is. I don't think this is obvious enough to assume. And then my ding is I told Gina I couldn't believe how cheap she was behaving.
That's rude because
that's rude.
Like. So this is okay. If the bill was $200, for example, then I would think Gina would pay $150 and OP would pay $50. That's what I would think, right?
Exactly. And I feel like the fact that it was so expensive really made it not work for OP.
Yeah. Oh, it made it not work for Gina also to have paid for it.
Well, yeah. Well, Gina was like, I'll put
$150 towards it.
Yeah,
and
exactly. She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was like poor planning. And then OP kind of attacked Gina.
Yeah.
For like this scheme that she came up in her head. And I think, look, this is classic conflict rules that I have. Like, don't adjective people how cheap she is. It's just like, you're taking a shot, you're calling someone cheap, and you're not really kind of like sober in the moment on what happened. I understand it's quite a zap. I mean, that's when I was 27. When I was 27, I didn't have $150 to spend on a meal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really expensive. I feel like the way I see it is OP, because of the conversation that they initially had, OP was like, oh, sweet. Like, she's going to put a lot towards dinner. I don't have to worry about it. It's probably going to just be a normal price or fully covered. Yeah. Not understanding how expensive it was. And then I think it was almost like she was angry at herself for not being more careful. And then she took that out on Gina.
Exactly. AITA for assuming we split the check. Sorry, OP. Thanks for listening, but I think we're at YTA. All right, folks. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join me on Patreon. 200 plus bonus episodes every single episode. Ad free. I know you hear the ad and you hear me say this and you skip it. Just join Patreon, please. Come on, guys. Come on. Join. Evyenia, should they join?
They should absolutely join for all the hottest tea.
Yeah, we put a lot of tea on there.
And not Evyenia. Scalding hot.
Not really her. It was mainly me, let's be honest. AITA for accusing a man of being misogynistic for not wanting to sign a prenup. My friend Tom, 36M, and I, 36M, have been good friends since being dorm mates freshman year of college. We attended a prestigious school, and Tom continued his education through law school while I got my PhD. We were in the same frat, running the same circles, whole friendship. Not trying to brag, just context for our esteemed social circles. Put a knife in my eye. After years of success of being a top attorney and becoming partner, Tom reached a breaking point. He was regularly using drugs and booze and never had a steady relationship. He burnt out, made the difficult decision to downgrade his income and wealthy lifestyle and leave law and enter the world of nonprofits. Huh. While removing the pressures that came with his former career and lifestyle alleviated stress and enabled him to drop unhealthy habits, he struggled to operate on a smaller budget.
Yep.
This is especially the case as his affluent social circle has remained the same.
Oh.
Fortunately, he met a wonderful woman through a former colleague. She is smart and kind and just so happens to have a trust fund. You would never know this, though, because she's a hard worker and very successful surgeon. Their work schedules complement one another, and they have even talked family planning, and Tom enthusiastically looks forward to the opportunity of being a stay-at-home dad. With that, Tom recently proposed, and they hosted a beautiful engagement party. Soon after, Tom was hit with a prenup. The way he described it, his wife was very sensitive in her delivery and explained this was an expectation of recipients of her family's trust. Regardless, Tom was not happy. He was complaining to me over drinks after work, and I was surprised by his reaction. I told him I never took him to be so misogynistic. He asked me what I meant by that. I told him that the only reason this prenup is rubbing him the wrong way was because it clearly made him feel emasculated, that his female SO made more money than him. If he had still been making the income he once had and the roles were reversed in terms of income ratios, he would absolutely ask her to sign a prenup. It's something the men in our social circles regularly discuss as a norm. I told Tom not to ruin the best thing that's ever happened to him, and he called me an asshole and left. He hasn't spoken to me in a week. AITA for accusing a man of being misogynistic for not wanting to sign a prenup.
How do you feel about prenups?
I have been threatened with a prenup.
Oh, I didn't know that you ever were getting married.
Well, it was on the table.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of it. I think I was young. I was a younger man. And, I guess it's a very, for me, I think, when I married, my parents are still together. Mm-hmm. And so that was hard. Just the idea of like, okay, so now we're already getting divorced. Feels like a contingency plan, but I think also it's a big old like, let me just spell it out for you.
Yeah.
We're richer than you. And there's something harsh about that. I don't think now I would feel such a way about it. I think it was a product of youth, and now it's kind of like whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I don't really care. I'll sign your thing. If I love you, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that like the terms should be fair towards both people, right?
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be like if you come in with nothing, then you're going to leave with nothing. But I also think that it's kind of a smart thing to do. Of course, no one wants to go into a marriage thinking about divorce, but like I think that they're especially important if you're going to have kids, because the last thing that you want to be worrying about is where the kids. Like I think like having a plan in place for custody and finances and all of that is really, really important when it comes to having kids. So I've just seen, how stressful it can be if the unimaginable does happen. And it's just way too much back and forth that no one needs.
That's fair. I don't think prenups are a bad thing. I think for me, what this is, though, is I see this is two men. Tom's 36M, OP's 36M. And, this is an individual who is very, they're kind of into the prestige. Though they're owning it, to be fair. They're not very likable, but I get it. There's people like this. They're very into it.
Yeah.
The pomp and the circumstance people. You know what I mean? They're in the suits. They want to go to the hoity-toity thing. Like they want to dress up, and that's their circle. You know, they've got hors d'oeuvres. There's a great TikTok. You know that TikTok where it's like how to say English words.
No, I'm not really on TikTok.
Well, it's like a guy, and then it shows like a mansion, and he goes manor, and then it's like haunted house, and then it shows a skeleton, and he's like cadaver. And for me, this individual is like that kind of guy. It's like they're very into like, look how smart I am. Look what I can do. Watch me dance, PhD, he's a doctor. Yes.
I don't know. I kind of like that Tom was like, you're being misogynistic. I feel like that kind of is not what I would expect from that circle.
Really?
Yeah. For him to call him
I
out.
totally disagree.
For him to call him out in that way.
No, I think these circles are often very liberal. They're very educated individuals, so they're very liberal. They're almost like lipstick liberal, though. You know, they're like, well, yes, of course, I have all the correct opinions. Ew, a homeless person is there. Run.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Like, even if you like, for example, I think that I am here saying I think that prenups are smart, but I probably would still be offended. So like, you can't like knock the guy for complaining about it to his friend.
Yeah, well, it sounds like he was, you know, I mean, look, this guy's in a tough position because
and he must be a stay-at-home dad.
He was a top attorney. He became partner. That takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. You know, he did drugs and booze, which is like what those guys do because they're like obviously not living a balanced life. And so then he like downsizes, and now he's kind of like the lame duck of his friend group from their point of view. Now, I'm not really saying that. Of course, I actually think this guy's a reasonable individual because I think most people realize with time it's like, bro, like how much money do you really need? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah,
you need to make $1.2 million a year as a partner and have 1.2 seconds a day to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't know. I think he was fair in how he shared this too. He wasn't like, my wife's a raging or my fiance's a raging bitch. She was like, she was really sensitive about it. She explained to me about it. I just like still think it sucks. It's kind of what it sounds like he's saying.
It hits. It just it hits on an emotional level. I don't really think there's any way around that. I think it's kind of like, I think there's a lot of parts of life that just like, what are you gonna say? It's like sucks, but you understand it. She's not wrong for doing it necessarily, and it is what it is. You just gotta take it. And you might want to experience something like that with a friend who can maybe lend an ear and be understanding and not fire off a fucking insult at you. I don't feel like misogynistic is fair.
I don't think it was the right word. I think calling him out on saying, hey, think about it this way. If you were making how much she makes and you came from a family, don't you think you probably would have asked the same thing? I think asking that question for him to reflect on it himself is totally valid and a great point. But there was no need to like kind of attack him while doing it.
Well, yeah. I think he had to just hear it.
Yeah.
I think this was an event. Like, yeah, man, now I got to sign this. Like, you know, I don't. Her family's so rich. Now I got to sign this thing that basically says I'm poor. Like, yeah, man, I feel you. It's tough. It's tough. I honestly don't feel like this is, I think a lot of people when they're comforting, it's just like, you actually don't need to say that much. You just need to be like, it's really hard. I'm here for you. That's really all we need to hear. This isn't like imagine if this was that. It's like, no, I don't
know. I think that would have been helpful personally. Like, because sometimes people just need to hear things in a different way.
I think he got that though. He gets it.
We don't know.
I guess.
There's no harm, I'm saying, in like kind of reminding him of why it's like not a hurtful thing.
I don't think it's great. I don't think that's what this interaction likely called for. I think he rationally understands it. He's a fucking lawyer. Like, he understands it. It's not an understanding issue. The issue is that it just kind of feels like a slap in the face, unfortunately.
But sometimes you also need your friends to be like, hey, actually, like, this is not something that you need to really feel this hurt about.
I think that's invalidating.
I don't think that's not where I'm coming from on it. I think that like sometimes you need your friend to tell you that like the truth, A, and B, not that you're not allowed to feel how you feel, right? Because I'm fully supportive.
Oh, okay.
I'm fully supportive of him complaining to his friend. That's fine. That's normal. But I think his friend being like, look at it from this perspective is valid and important. Because I think you need to be reminded in those moments when you're facing things from this side, you need to be reminded to look at things from the other side.
I just feel like that's advice givey, where it's like, look at it this way. I feel like I would more say supportive things like, yeah, man, like, look, you know, the prenup is here and, you know, obviously her family is wealthy, but like, you've done more balanced things with your life. And that's actually a good thing. Like, this is a reflection of a good thing because you were doing coke and you were, you know, drinking, what's that one called that's really expensive? Johnny Walker Black. You know, and now look at you, man. You're thriving. We're on a pickleball team together. And so this is really a reflection of your much more balanced life. Like, to me, that's like comforting.
I would take that as like you were talking down on me.
Wow. So I guess we are learning that we are not the people to comfort each other.
I think I know that you're all about like validation and just listening. And I think those are important things and actually pretty rare for a dude. So props to you on that.
Thanks.
I think I am definitely a person who likes to balance between like, I'm here to listen, but I'm also gonna problem solve with you.
Well, you got to feel it. You got to feel it. But look, I think we're actually not really disagreeing because I think both of what we're saying is valid over the course of a kind of vent and a processing, right? Like they're going to be hanging out for an hour.
Yeah.
So I think you don't open up with like, think of it this way. It's like, no, bro, we're not here to think yet. Let's first feel together. But I do think that this was a swipe. Basically, this guy, this doctor, this PhD wanted to feel like he knew something and wanted to feel on top of it. Didn't really hear it, didn't really listen, didn't really understand. I don't think he was being misogynistic. And I don't think even if he was and said something shitty like that, like, I'm not some chick, I'd be like, okay, fine, call that out. But I don't think right now is the time to call it out. I think timing is important, you know?
But it's not everything.
It's not everything. AITA for accusing a man of being misogynistic for not wanting to sign a prenup. Ultimately, I think OP made this interaction about him and his little misogyny charges. And yeah, I think it was shitty and he wasn't being a good friend. And of course, that's why he's not talking to you. YTA.
I think I'd give him like a soft YTA.
How is that not being an asshole? Evyenia, give me a full YTA on that. Be like, oh my God, like this lady, like what happened with you and your dog? He's clearly, this is an asshole. This was an asshole move. You attacked your friend who was vulnerable with you. For men, oh my God, so horrible.
I still see him as like wanting the best for him because he's like, I told Tom not to ruin the best thing that's ever happened to him. So it makes me think that for him to have said that, we're not getting the full sort of like what Tom was saying of like his reaction.
He doesn't give a single example of anything misogynistic.
Yeah. Well, I still said YTA.
Okay.
I was just not being super hard on him.
Please rate, review, subscribe, join me on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod, 200 plus bonus episodes. Don't miss it, folks. Lots of good stuff on there. Lots of juice. All right. I think we're going to wrap this puppy up. AITA for not filling up my gas tank before a long drive. The other day, me, 37F, and my husband, 38M, had to go pick up our daughter from the airport, which is a little over an hour drive from our home. When it was time to leave, we jumped in my Jeep and my husband drove. Husband immediately notes the car is going to need gas while passing the gas station.
Okay.
Right by our house and gets on the highway. I thought to myself, no big deal. We have plenty of time and we'll pass numerous other gas stations on the way. I'm sitting in the passenger seat and texting my daughter, trying to time the pickup just right so she can deboard the plane, get her bag from luggage, and be waiting at arrival so we can easily pull up and pick her up. Everything went smoothly and the three of us stopped for a bite to eat on the way home. As we're trekking down the highway for the final leg of our journey home, I happen to glance over the dash and notice that the gas light is on. I asked my husband how long that had been on for. He replied, I don't know. It's not my Jeep. I'm not paying attention to that.
Oh my gosh.
I hit the little button and it just says low fuel, indicating there's less than 50 miles left in the tank. I know we had over 50 miles to still travel home. I repeated myself in annoyance. Well, how long has it been on? You're the one driving. You're staring at the dash. He's like, I don't know. So I asked him to get off at the next exit so we could fill up. After we got gas, I asked him what he was going to do. He dead ass said he was going to keep driving until the car ran out of gas. And then he would have had to call AAA. I was bewildered and scoffed and called him an asshole under my breath. He said I was being the asshole and I should have taken responsibility and filled up the tank before we left. AITA.
Wow.
Wowzers.
I feel like I have a funny story about no gas.
Let's do it.
Crazy.
No, let's do it.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
This was like in my early 20s. I went out to San Francisco with a friend and it was so bad. We couldn't find her car. We couldn't remember where she parked.
Yeah.
So we were literally in like middle of the night, cute little outfits, heels, the like crazy hills of SF, trying to find her car. We were wandering around for like an hour at least, trying to find her car. Finally, we had to get a taxi to drive us around to search for her car. we had tried to leave the party. We were at her friend's birthday party. We tried to leave the party early that night because we both had to be up at like 5 a.m. the next day.
Oh God.
But this was delaying us hugely, right? Because we couldn't find her car. Finally, after getting a taxi to drive us around, we finally find her car. We're like, oh, thank God we can finally leave now. We get in her car. She goes to start the car. There's no gas.
No.
We have no gas to get home. Now we get back out. Actually, I think I can't remember if we drove. We had a taxi drive us to the gas station or we walked to the gas station. But we had to go buy gas. Then we like came back to the car. I think we walked back to the car. And then we couldn't figure out how to put the gas in the car, in the tank. We had random men pulling over, like
ladies.
One guy, like there was this one guy who wanted our parking spot, and we're like, we're gonna be a while. And he's like, oh, like what's going on? So he gets out of the car. Then this other man who is like, I think just like on drugs and possibly homeless, like comes and he's like, oh, let me help you guys. And he wants to help us, but he doesn't know what's going on. He just keeps taking his flashlight out and just staring at the gas tank. Then the other guy like compliments our outfit and the other guy goes, don't touch them. And he's like, it's fine, I'm gay. And then he's like, I don't care, don't touch them. So it was like this whole
He was touching you?
I think he just touched one of our shoulders saying like cute top or something. It was the most insane night ever. I think we ended up getting home at like 3 a.m.
Oh no.
But I think that was very irresponsible of her because she was driving and it was her car. She should have gotten gas. Of course, I don't know that her gas tank had gone off. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
I couldn't have called her out on it. Whereas in this situation, I'm not friends with that girl anymore, by the way. In this situation.
Wow, she just caught a stray on that shit. She's fucking done.
In this situation, I do think they were both responsible for getting the gas tank filled. I think it's not like it's your car, so you have to do it. He was driving, so like he has to keep an eye on that. But at the same time, he says specifically when they get in the car, hey, we need to get gas soon. So she could have also been on the lookout the whole time driving for a gas station being like, let's pull over, we need to get gas.
Yeah.
I don't think that it was just one person's responsibility in this situation. I do think it's the driver's responsibility a little bit more, but I think like she knew the deal. She knew what was going on. Why didn't she say anything the whole time?
Well, she did. She said.
She didn't say anything until the end when she saw that the gas light was on.
Well,
but the whole time they're driving, yeah, he said it at the beginning. So the whole time they're driving, why doesn't she say, yeah, let's pull over and get gas? She even says that they drove past a gas station. She didn't say anything. She was like, oh, we'll get it later.
I don't know. I'm not really on his side at all.
I'm not either, but I
guess
do think that she could have also taken initiative.
I just wanted to say I did have a car. I don't know if I told you I'm car free now.
No, I didn't know that.
Is that going to hurt my dating prospects?
Hell yeah.
You think so?
Oh, 1,000%.
Why?
I've heard it from ladies. That's like a deal breaker sometimes.
Really? It's a deal breaker?
Yeah.
Even if they live nearby and I can one wheel over, what's the problem?
I'm just reporting.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Is it a deal breaker for you?
Probably.
Really?
Unless he was like,
what's the issue?
I don't know how you're going to get to me.
Like a one wheel.
I don't know how we're going to go somewhere together.
We can take your car. There's a thing called Uber. You seen this?
Yeah. What if we wanted to go to Joshua Tree?
We could take your car. We could rent a car.
Yeah. We're going to rent a car every time we want to go out for a weekend. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It feels like there's like a lacking of independence a little bit.
You know, what about rent? None of these solutions are good enough for you?
I love, you're always depending on something at that point, something else.
Well,
or like even saying like, oh, we'll take your car. It's like, we're going to take my car every time.
Well, why?
I'm just reporting the facts. You do you. I have a friend who's like hates cars so much. He doesn't have a car. That did not stop me from being his friend.
Fuck. I know. I just, I didn't want a car. That's the truth.
Live your life. Live your truth.
I mean, I could go to Joshua Tree. It's not that big of a deal. I can rent a car. And I've done the numbers. I'm like, what am I going to Joshua Tree every weekend? It's crazy. And let me say this, ladies who won't date me that I made up in my head because I don't have a car. They're like, that's like reason number 15. One of the reasons I got rid of the car too is I realized that I would actually socialize more. I would be more social, go to friends' places. Why we all need a car? It's kind of crazy.
Well, most people, like LA is very neighborhood driven. So it's like, yeah, maybe you'll see people in your area, but
I stay to the east side.
yeah,
one wheel distance. I'm good.
That's less social, I feel like.
No, it's not. Why do I need to be friends with people far away? Who cares?
That's not far.
There's
I feel
enough
like
people around.
I don't know.
There's 15 million people.
I think it's just more of a reason to stay in your own little bubble, which is not a positive in my book. I feel like you don't like the truth, Danny. And I don't know what to tell you. Do you want me to lie to you?
Well, this is your truth. No, there's no not liking. This is your truth. It's what you think. You know, I'm saving $500 a month. I think that's reasonable. I don't miss it.
What are you saving the money on? From gas?
No, from the car payment and the insurance. I walk every day. I think it's practical. I think it's reasonable. And I think I will still, even on a heavy Uber month, which this has been, because the doctor said I'm not allowed to one wheel. Fucking asshole. I don't know. I think I'm at like $300 on Ubers. And it was New Year's, so I had to go to the west side for that.
I think it wouldn't really save me money because I own my car.
Oh, you own your car? Fucking baller over here. Anyway, look, my point is,
Prius, but yeah.
That's you're a Toyota girl? I knew I liked you for a reason. So the thing is, I will say though, I was very good about this. I pretty much left my tank filled because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm in a rush and then I got to fill my tank. That's a nightmare. Now we got a nightmare on a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's no good. That said, I just feel like this husband is really bringing a lot of heat and ugliness. And I'm like, can we be on a team here?
Yeah,
Can we work together? I mean, you're telling me apparently we can't take your Jeep to Palm Springs, but sorry, that's not what you said. What did you say? You said Joshua Tree. Yeah. I want to go to Palm Springs. So now we do have a problem.
Yeah, we do. Because I would definitely prefer Joshua Tree.
Well, Palm Springs is more gay. So I'm more actually cultural than you. You just want to hang out with the cool trees.
They have cute little like flea markets there.
Do they?
Like, cute shops.
Actually, no. I met a listener.
There's a cool sound bath there.
Yeah, I think the way this guy is acting is really immature and saying like I was going to let it run out. I don't think she needed to remind him. I'm sorry, I'm not with you. No, he's driving. He saw it. Like, bro, it's low. Go fill it.
Yeah.
No further questions.
Yeah.
What? You can't handle that? You need someone to remind you? Like, you're the pilot, homie.
Yeah.
Then he says this absurd thing. How long has it been on for? It's not my Jeep. I'm not paying attention to that. It's like, y'all are married and have a child? No, she has at least 2 kids. Because what kind of answer is that, you fucking man-child? I'm not, it's my Jeep. It's not mine. I'm not paying attention to it. Like, no, you are, because we're on a mission together. And I think these 2 people hate each other. Because then we get to OP, we finally get the gas, and then he just straight up says it like, no, I was going to just keep driving. And it's like, so you were going to make...
Was he being sarcastic?
No, I think he meant it. Because I think he wanted...
So you want to make a point so badly that you're willing to inconvenience yourself. That's crazy.
That's crazy. No, I think he's... Well, I think they hate each other. I think this is...
But he hates himself too, because he's going to suffer too. If they run out of gas on the road and then they have to call AAA.
No, well,
that's not suffering for him.
Well, no, what he was going to do was blame her.
And then it was going to be like his like... He was going to get off on it so hard that the suffering wouldn't exist there for him.
Well, he wouldn't really view it as suffering because they're locked into like this horrible, like contemptuous battle. And so he would view it as a W.
See, they should have had a prenup.
I'm with you. You know, or if they had a 1-car household, they would have learned to manage these sorts of conflicts.
1-car households, I'm not into that.
1 car, 3 one-wheels. Now that's a practical home.
Wow. Okay.
So then, but here's the thing where I don't like about her. He dead ass said he was going to keep driving. Then she says, asshole, under her breath. Oh, so we've got a bunch of children. Asshole. Shut up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, you guys probably fire off little shots at each other.
And they're in front of their kid.
I don't think they picked the kid up, did they?
Yeah.
They get the kid?
Yeah. It's just at this point they have the kid.
At this point they have the kid? Don Fan Trainer writes, this feels like some sort of passive aggressive revenge from a previous fight. Yeah, so they're picking up on it. You know. Useful actuary, NTA, but definitely feels like there's some built up resentment here that we don't know about. Yeah, you guys fucking hate each other. Like, has OP played that it's your item and therefore your responsibility on something that is technically his? Regardless, in this situation, he's the asshole. Yeah, I mean, he's in this situation as being the asshole, but like, I feel like he's acting this insane due to a whole cavalcade of insanity.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah. It's just childish. It's weird. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it.
I'm not here for it. It's not okay. AITA for not filling up my gas tank before a long drive. I think on this situation, I guess I can say, NTA and he is, but I honestly am at ESH. I'm at ESH because this is my new philosophy of ESH. In an NTA, the other person owes the other person an apology, and I just know that between these two people, whatever has festered, it's either a breakup with him or there are so many hundreds of apologies owed on both sides. We need to start issuing apologies and pray that some come back because this is contempt.
So you're saying basically ESH because she should have dumped him?
I'm saying
kind of. Because also I'm seeing too that it wasn't even pre-planned that they were going to take her car. She just said, we jumped in my Jeep and my husband drove. And then he immediately knows that the car needs gas. So,
but I've thought about this. So the philosophy I'm trying to say is if somebody does something that's apology worthy.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, let's say, you hit my one wheel with your car and it actually aesthetically damages it. So you scratched it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if that was a situation, obviously you would owe me an apology. You damaged my thing. But now let's say you did that and I scream at you and I call you all kinds of horrible terms, like slurs, like nastiness. Yeah. In that case, I would owe you an apology. And it wouldn't be an everyone sucks here, even though you did something to me, because I would think later maybe you would apologize, but I owe you an apology. That's where that situation is. Yeah. So that's my philosophy of ESH distinction. So in this case, I feel that...
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
Because of the shadows, it looks like you have a mullet.
Okay, thanks. That's really great for an audio podcast. Maybe the YouTubers will like it. So I think ultimately this is an NTA and no, I stick by it. It's an ESH because I know these people have done things to each other. This is a battle and a much greater war. I'm convinced. Maybe it's not playing it as delays, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
AITA for moving up in a crowd at a concert. This past weekend, I, F29, and my husband, M29, attended a musical festival with all our favorite artists. The festival took place at an all-inclusive resort and was not cheap. Because it was all of our favorite artists, seriously, our entire Spotify Wrapped, playing 2 sets each at a smaller venue with general admission seating, we did the math and realized this is an opportunity we could not pass up. During the first night, we were in the crowd for our favorite band. We'd followed them since 2018 before they got big and had not been able to see them that close since 2019. We were jamming out and having a good time behind 2 older women. The crowd had been pushed up pretty close behind us, but we managed to have some space between us and the women in front of us. A few people left that were in front of the women, and they didn't move forward to fill the space. After some moments, a tall guy came into the space, blocking all of our views. The women in front of us looked disappointed, glancing at each other. The audience shuffled a bit, and the guy ended up moving into another space, leaving that area in front of the women open. After a few moments of them not moving up, I tapped them on the shoulder and asked if they were okay if we moved into that area. The women looked at her friend to discuss and then shrugged and said fine, but was not happy with it. We moved into the space and had a much better view. I'm only 5'2", and my husband, the perfect height of 5'8". Oh.
This is why you chose this one.
So usually us sliding into open spaces doesn't bother many people as they can see over us. More open pockets of the crowd become available, and we continued moving up. We got all the way up to maybe the 3rd row of our favorite band. The show was phenomenal. I knew there was a lot of controversy about moving up in crowds, and the women's initial disgust at me asking if we could take the space in front of her has me thinking we might have been the asshole. I figured if we don't take it, someone else will. It's a huge show. AITA.
Also, if they had wanted that space, couldn't they have taken it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, she also said, I'm against people showing up late to a show and pushing through crowds to plant themselves in tight spaces.
This is when I love being small because, I will absolutely.
Are you 5'2"? That's all.
I'm 5'3".
You're 5'3".
I will definitely just in a small concert. I will just go right up to the front. I mean, I've put my beer on the stage. It's great.
Wow,
it's fun.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're tall, you can already see. So it's leave some space for us shorties.
Yeah, I don't like concerts like this where it's all packed. I like to go to the Hollywood Bowl and I like to sit on the edge. The Hollywood Bowl is like an outdoor.
That's too big.
Amphitheater.
For me. Like a big amphitheater.
Well, listen, I'm not going to Josh Tree and you're not coming to the bowl. So, yeah, I like to sit out on the wing
Yeah.
So you can easily leave your seat.
Yeah.
And you can see the concert. It's not packed because everybody has a seat.
I don't like big stadium concerts. I like small shows before an artist gets too
so
big.
So then you're kind of agreeing you don't like it to be too packed in there?
Yeah. I just like small shows, like small venues, like before an artist gets like big.
Right.
I don't want to see them.
I'll have you know I'm a very marginal comedian.
Yeah, I don't want to see once you blow up, I'm not gonna want to come see you. But when you're marginal,
you're in.
Yeah.
I think for me though, honestly, I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's a concert. Like it's like kind of a microcosm. And I'm like, I kind of feel like if you're a tall guy, can you not?
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like if you sneak to the front and you're like not that tall, like honestly, 5'8" and under feels like a pretty reasonable bar because that's like basically median.
I would say like 5'4" and under.
To go to the very, very front?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends because you can also lean on the bar or like lean on the stage sometimes. But like, I honestly though, I just feel like a concert has no rules. It's like, yeah, if you get up there, you get up there. If you can't get by, you can't get by.
Yeah, but I think like it would be rude. I think it would be socially inept and rude and like lacking self-awareness if like a tall dude just walks right up to the front and is like, I don't give a fuck about anyone behind me. I'm just gonna stand right here in the front. At least go to the side. Don't go to the front and center.
Go to the side.
Yeah.
That makes sense if you're very tall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like they're short. So
I had once gotten such a good clutch prime spot front and center near the stage. And next thing I know, there's this huge boom behind me. This guy had passed out.
Oh my God.
And he drops his full cup of beer everywhere. There's a huge puddle and they don't move it. No one comes to clean it up, but I didn't want to lose my spot. So I literally had to stand. The puddle was like right where I was standing.
Oh my God.
So I had to stand with one foot on each side of the puddle. And it was a big puddle.
Yeah.
But I didn't give up that spot. I just dealt with the huge ass puddle of beer that was under me.
Wow. That's disgusting. It's all
disturbing.
sticky.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess the guy's 5'8". So are we digging on that? You're telling me? I don't go to enough concerts to really know. I
don't either. I think I've been in a situation where like I didn't get to go to the front and I was kind of stuck further back, and it sucks when you pay to see a show and there's people blocking you. I feel like it's gonna happen. It's kind of unavoidable. But if you are significantly taller than the people behind you, just be mindful. Like, is that not a fair thing to say? Just be mindful of who's behind you. You're so sleepy.
No, it's getting late. It's 8:34. I'm tired. I guess I feel like, be mindful, check the vibes. This doesn't seem egregious to me. I'm struggling to ding, but maybe some of the seasoned concert people will have a bit more opinion, but like, it kind of sounds like they didn't move up, and so they basically let it happen. And it's like, it's 5'8". If it's a small venue, it's like, okay, someone taller, but it's like you can just move over. It's like not super packed. And I just feel like, concert's a shit show. Like, if you're a huge guy, please don't be in the front. But like,
if there's a spot open, take it. I don't think someone can be upset if they saw that spot and didn't take it themselves first, because it seems like they waited a minute.
They waited.
I didn't know that there was this controversy about moving up in crowds, as she states. So apparently this is very controversial.
I kind of feel like if you can go through it, you can go through it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I kind of agree that it's a dick move to show up late, but like, what are you gonna do? I don't know.
Yeah. It's fine. He has a perfect height of 5'8". I don't know why she had to say that. It's hilarious. Did you write this?
No, I didn't write it, but I think they're kind of playing into the...
Okay. Right, because it's the listeners. Okay, got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Catching on, folks.
You're funny, listener. We like you.
Yeah, I think I do like you, listener. I guess I feel like the lateness thing, like, I guess if somebody did that as a policy, they're like, we're going to show up late and we're mid-height and we're going to be aggressive to get to the front. I'd be like, you're an asshole, dude. Like,
don't
just
be aggressive.
Go early. Yeah, don't be aggressive. And I have actually had that happen now. I remember I was at a concert and this guy basically just like looked at me and was like, I'm going through. And he was actually shorter than me, but like made of pure muscle. And I was like, okay, like, good luck. And I didn't even know what to do. And it was like awkward how aggressive he was.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, he made it happen, to be fair. It was scary though. I was like, I'm like right next to you and you're telling me I have to move. And I'm like, there's nowhere to move. Like, I can't move.
Yeah.
I hate concerts like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like to be in big crowds.
No.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. AITA for moving up in a crowd at a concert. I think we're at no assholes
No
here.
assholes here.
All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you so much for listening. Evyenia, you want to do any plugs?
I wanted to tell a joke, but
Tell your joke.
no, I couldn't think of one. I wanted to be like, you said plugs, and I was gonna say like, what's that? Oh,
Blade.
yes, that was my joke.
I
Thank
got
you.
I liked it. It was cute. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.